Welcome back. San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is here in studio tonight to answer your questions. From smart street lights, that vote's happening right now, in fact, to the Housing Action Package 2.0 that was voted down last night, to Care Court, we have a lot of ground to cover. Mayor, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, as always, Marcella.
All right, breaking news. Actually, the vote is being discussed right now.
Yes.
Street lights. We had it in place, and then it was shut down in 2020. What's kind of paved the way to allow this to be an issue again?
Well, we've worked with the community to establish rules around how people's private data would be handled on a go-forward basis. I think all of us want criminals brought into custody as quickly as possible, but none of us want those of us who have committed no crimes to be caught up in this sort of technology. We've established a use policy. We've gone out to every city council district. We've met with the Citizens Advisory Board as well as the City Council Committee. And so the vote tonight is on a contract whether or not to actually enter into these streetlights. My hope is it'll be ratified this evening. These lights can go up in short order, and we'll have a network of cameras across the city so that if your car was stolen, we'd be likely to identify it quickly and return it to you swiftly. And in the case of a crime, that we could get that individual into custody faster, limiting the use of our officers in order to make sure they can respond to more 911 calls faster.
If you are an upstanding citizen, what kind of data, how is your data being protected?
So what we want to do is do things like masking private properties. These cameras are out in the public right-of-way. We want to focus on the public right-of-way. We don't want these cameras going into people's private businesses or homes, so we have masking requirements. We keep the data for a limited time only, and if it's not associated with any crime, it's expunged and not reused. In the case of a crime, we capture that information and only that information. So strong privacy protections around this. Probably more than anything, Marcella, we are one of the safest big cities in this country, and it's my job to keep it that way. I believe these cameras will make that possible.
All right, we've heard from other cities that they've had success, their leaders say, so we'll have to see what happens tonight. Last night, City Council had a very long meeting talking about the Housing Action Package 2.0. They voted it down. What are you doing to, I mean, obviously we have to address the homelessness crisis, so you can't, it's not going to go away. What are you doing to move forward?
Yeah, well, it's not just the homelessness crisis, right? This is for every one of your viewers who struggle to pay the rent every month or can't foresee being able to buy a home in the city. Okay. This package would help give them a fighting chance to be able to make ends meet in this town. So it's regrettable that the package didn't advance last night, but I'm undeterred. I believe that we can take some of the comments council members made last night and bring this action back to the council quickly for their consideration and likely ratification. End of the bottom line, Marcella, is that there is no issue in the city that isn't connected to our housing affordability crisis, our homelessness crisis, expanding our economy. You remember, jobs, homes are where jobs go at night, right? So whether or not we're expanding our economy is directly connected to whether or not we have more homes. This package will create more homes to put roofs over people's heads at prices they can afford. Last night's vote was regrettable, but I don't think it's determinative. I believe we can come back in short order and get this done.
Everyone does agree that there needs to be more affordable housing. It's just how that's going to look.
Always.
That you're going to have to shape and mold a little bit to get everyone on board. While we're on the topic of affordable housing and people falling into homelessness, let's just take a moment to honor the life of Peter Seidler, the Padres owner who passed away today. I know you worked very closely with him. He did a lot of homeless outreach. What would you like to say about your time with him?
Well, I was so heartbroken when I got the call this morning, and I just want San Diegans to know he was not only a great team owner, but an extraordinary San Diegan. You may remember he was named the paper's Man of the Year just last year, and for good reason. He ran a great ball club, but more importantly, he had a big heart, and he was absolutely a great partner for the city when it came to homelessness. He was the best cheerleader for our unsheltered population, and I think is rightly credited with getting hundreds of people, if not thousands of people off the streets. We will surely miss Peter Seidler, but he leaves us knowing that he left the city far better than he found it, and I can't think of a better legacy for anyone. It's
just been wonderful to hear all the positive stories about him. We just have a short time left. Let's just touch on Care Court real quick. 6 weeks. The last update that we had, there were about 15 petitions, 6 here in San Diego, and this is, of course, to help people struggling with mental disorders, schizophrenia, and related disorders, and have people petition on their behalf to get them treatment. How's it going here?
So far, it's pretty modest, but we knew it would be modest. Care Court, for a reminder for your viewers, are for people who are severely mentally ill and not able to care for themselves, to get them into a court order process to get the care they need, often to get off the streets for good. San Diego County volunteered to be one of 8 in the entire state to do this first. We're 6 weeks in. We had a couple dozen applications go to the court. Those are going to be adjudicated. This is a due process situation, right? They have the rights under the law.
Right.
But this is a new tool we have not had before to address some of the most acute cases we have out there. We never anticipated this would apply to a lot of people. It's appropriately tailored, and the returns so far exhibit that. The thing to keep an eye on is January 1st, when the county will have the obligation to take action on conservatorship reform. This will affect more people than care court, and it'll hopefully will get even more people off the streets faster.
All right, still too early to tell how it's being implemented, how effective it's going to be. I know that it is voluntary, and that was kind of a concern for a lot of people who are advocates of supporting people with mental health, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. All right, well, that's our time for today, Mayor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.